Welcome to Build Out with Jim Kunkel, your go-to broadcast for learning more about business in the real world. Your host, Jim Kunkel, who is an accomplished professional in business development, sales, and marketing, and is a technical content creator along with being a rising influencer on LinkedIn. On Build Out, you'll get the latest information and knowledge from subject matter experts from across the globe. Okay, let's get this Build Out broadcast started. And here's your host, Jim Kunkel.
Hey, welcome to an all-new live broadcast of Build Out. This month on Build Out, I'm going to be focusing on influencers, both from different industries, but also to social media as well, influencers. And joining me today from the great country of Panama is Juan Caballero, who's Master Coating Inspector and is a major influencer in the corrosion and global protective coatings industry. Welcome, Juan.
Hey, Jim. Nice to be you here again with you in the Build Out Productions. Excellent programs you have placed for the global industry.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. You know, Juan, for the viewers who might not know who you are, and there's probably only a few of them that don't know who you are, if you could provide your professional background and just a little bit about your company as well.
Okay, James, thank you. My name is Juan Caballero. I'm a Master Coating Inspector, and I'm the Managing Director of MCI Panama, which stands for Naval Industrial Solutions, which is an independent coatings and linings inspection and consulting firm. And, you know, we provide local services and international services as well. And, you know, I have been a long time a professional that have interacted with the industry in many ways and always looking to do the best of myself to produce a positive impact to the industry.
Excellent. And before we get into our conversation about you as an influencer, not only across Latin America, but also here in North America as well, the perfect sponsor for this episode today is Coffee Brand Coffee. And you and I, before the live stream, we had a conversation about with Panama. And, you know, does Panama have premium coffee that's produced in the country? And you were talking about some very high quality premium coffee. Would you mind sharing that with the viewers as well?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to mention that I consider myself a coffee lover. And, you know, we have quite a few brand premium coffees here in Panama. One of them is maybe the most known globally is Café Geisha, which is a premium coffee that is sold in the best stores out there globally. And is very delicious, have a very unique taste, and I love it. I love it as well.
That's perfect. And I'm going to play a little short video, and it's regarding a code that you can use, website link to be able to purchase quality premium coffee, support this broadcast, support my content here on LinkedIn and other platforms as well. Juan, if you could hold on one quick second.
Yes.
Let's talk about the power of a great cup or mug of coffee. Coffee drinking dates back to at least the 15th century from the Sufi monasteries of Yemen. And by the 16th century, the practice of brewing and drinking coffee spread to Eastern Europe and Southeast Asia. Today, coffee is one of the most highly traded commodities, and after water, the most consumed global beverage. For many around the world, coffee helps start the day and provides a welcome physical and mental boost throughout the day. The official premium coffee of this broadcast comes from coffeebrandcoffee.com, who fresh roast coffee as orders come in. Please support this broadcast and my content by using the special Build Out link to coffeebrandcoffee.com. Order some premium coffee and teas today and support Build Out at the same time. And that link is in the episode description, also on some of the different platforms that we broadcast. It's also in the comments as well. So please take a look at Coffee Brand Coffee and consider purchasing and supporting this broadcast as well. You know, if anyone looks at your LinkedIn profile or, you know, goes into even Facebook and takes a look at your background, I think you hold probably over a dozen professional certifications when it comes to the protective coatings industry and also the corrosion industry as well. My first question I have for you as a professional, what was a motivator for you to go and get such a diverse range of protective coatings and corrosion professional certifications? What motivated you to do that?
Well, thank you, Jim. I think I have some drivers. I will mention maybe the top ones. I think my main driver, as many of us, always is our family. In order to adequately provide to our family, we need to excel in our professional and personal lives always. But let's say another driver I had was that I was really willing for some time to improve my industry, the industry I'm related with, and the industry that have gave me so many opportunities. So I realized at some point that in order to better serve my industry, I have to become an expert. And to become an expert, I need to go through a series of training and certifications, additional to my engineering, degree, so I can really give or give back to the industry a good feedback. And also, always I was looking on how can I do this. So if I can certify myself, become an expert, I can give, I can help my industry to improve and move to better industry practices. I can share my knowledge with my peers, and that will also make them to, in their end, also build a better industry. And at the final point, also provide my customers with top quality services. So that's why I put myself a plan, an objective, and I, at the beginning, I really don't know how much it will take me or how I will make it. But when I look back, it was a great journey. I have given me such great opportunities, and also, I have met so many people, so many industry leaders around, that I consider myself blessed for that.
Yeah, and earlier you mentioned about your upbringing in engineering, so you have a strong experience when it comes to industrial and mechanical engineering. But in the process of your professional life, you work for coating manufacturers. You've worked in different elements, and what I want to mention too to everyone who's watching the stream right now is that your background. So when it comes to your certifications, you focus in different key areas of the global protective coatings industry. So when we think of project work, we think of not only the engineering, which you had already had covered throughout your career, working for others and then also working for yourselves, but also your engineering background. You focused on surface preparation. So in surface preparation, you got certified to the highest degree of professional certifications or craft worker certifications when it comes to abrasive blasting, water jetting, and then also too when it comes to other things associated with quality control. For coating application, you did the same thing where you actually went through to be certified as a craft worker, type of certifications when it comes to coating application as well. The biggest achievement for you was focusing on inspection. So with inspection, you were focused on not only the protective coatings inspector side, but concrete coatings inspector side as well. And then you did some specialty ones too, if I remember correctly. And what I find interesting about this is, so when you're working in the industry, when you are talking with people who are looking at getting into the industry, you have a huge background and experience, but also these certifications really kind of help round you out. You're not just an inspection only, you have that background. And I think that motivation that has driven you to get all these certifications is what made you become an influencer. I would imagine you probably, if I were to ask you, or do you feel that you're an influencer, you'd probably say that you don't think that you're quite an influencer yet, that you still got a lot of ways to go, but you have had a major impact. And this is kind of, I'm giving you a little bit of praise here. With my experience working with you and knowing you, and then also too knowing people in the industry, their response to you is that you've been a bridge in recent years, and there are others too, when it comes to Latin America, let's say South America, Central America, and North America, between English speaking, Spanish speaking, and you've also had some bridges into Brazilian Portuguese. So you've had a pretty good opportunity when it came to become a rising influencer. So when you view yourself, what's important for you as a perceived and definitely an influencer for messaging when you talk to people who are looking at this industry, protective coatings, or even the corrosion industry? What are some of the things you focus on when you talk with individuals?
Well, first of all, I think that when I talk to some of my peers that are willing to, get into the industry, is to make them aware of the huge opportunity that this market have. Because maybe at first sight, and I have, talked with this with a lot of peers globally, at first sight, sometimes our industry is not well known, or don't have like a full awareness of the importance of this industry, of preventing corrosion, of doing proper surface preparation and coating application jobs, and the impact that it has in the society. So I always try to make them aware of the real impact that corrosion have in our infrastructure, also in the safety of the people, and make them note that there is a huge opportunity inside this market. You will have to work your way, but if you do it properly, with proper training, and you foresee like taking this as a career, you will make a good opportunities for yourself. So that's the main thing I think that I try to focus on when I talk to people, like the general public and society, about their industry, to make them aware of a wide view of why our industry is so important.
Yeah, I see you as an influencer. Pardon me one second. As an influencer, you're not only working on the general population when it comes to understanding the impact of corrosion, but also in the aspect of protective coatings and linings and other ways to protect the assets, how critically important it is, because there's a lot of misconceptions out there when it comes to how you can deal with corrosion, and it's just paint. It's just paint. Yeah. And that's really not the truth. The other thing too is what you alluded to is the career pathway and opportunity for craft workers, for individuals to get involved in the protective coatings industry, the corrosion industry, and then also too to have a career pathway. So, for example, you might have an individual who gets involved and they are a craft worker. They become an inspector. Maybe they become an owner of a contracting company or a partner in a contracting company, or they're an inspector and they're providing other services to customers and also to the general industry. What have been some of the challenges? Have you had challenges along the way as an influencer, as you were kind of rising up through all the certifications and communicating with the general public and then also to the industry itself? Were there any challenges you faced?
Yes, for sure. There have been many challenges on the way because, I think the biggest challenge or barrier we have faced all the way long have been, as I mentioned before, the low awareness of the importance of our market. But there is also kind of as you mentioned, a culture that has been taking care of things like certain ways that don't consider the good industry practices, that don't consider the standards, and it has become like somehow empirical,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to break that have been the biggest challenge, because it has been like I don't say everybody, but most people that maybe don't have access to the different organizations, to the different standards, to the different good industry practices, may have worked for a long time in a certain way that is not the right way to do 100% all the projects or activities that they are involved with. So trying to break that have been a biggest challenge, but I can say from my experience that being perseverant and working out with them, uh, doing different activities like you know uh, uh, organizing like events where they can go and take a look at the new technologies, at the new standards, at the new industry practices, different ways of doing surface preparation, different type of products. Little by little, I can look back and say that it has been um, a change, and there's still a lot to do, but I think that people perceive our market different now, and I'm confident that the work I have done, that you have done, that a lot of my peers have done, have been, for good.
Yeah, the times that we've collaborated in Central and South America, you and I've had experience, and one comes to mind with in related to shipyards, where you talked about Imperial, where you have a younger person learning from a senior person, and if they're doing surface preparation and they've been doing it their whole life, and they think, well, I'm doing it the right way because this is the way I've been doing it, and then when that shipyard owner, again, through the influence that you've done and the work we've done together, collaboration, we've had a situation where by bringing in really industry best practices and getting people to get certified to industry level, where they find, whoa, we have had people doing things inefficiently, and we can actually work a little bit more effectively, efficiently, and save money. And you and I had a situation with a shipyard where, they had overbought abrasives because they were, going off that imperial method of training people. And then when they brought certification in, they found greater efficiencies. And that really kind of woke them up, saying that, maybe the way we do things, the old way, is not really the best practices. And we really need to look, to your point, new technologies, new techniques, but bring in recognized industry third parties to help out. And with your influence, that really helped drive a lot of that messaging in Central and South America as well. So, that's a really good story to focus on as well.
Yeah. And
So,
you brought me another example I was missing to say, that to your point, that we have faced a lot, that some owners or contractors maybe consider like training or investing in better technologies, better surface preparation methods. Maybe they see as a high investment or a high cost. And on the long run, the ones that have taken the step forward realize that eventually this will save more money on their pocket, because they will have less reworks. They will save more, let's say, abrasive or labor hours, and this will do a positive impact on their finance and have better return of investment on their project. So This mindset have been changing over
Mm-hmm.
time. I think that nowadays I receive more calls from people interested in getting trained in knowing other technologies, and it's a fact that the the cost have sometimes considered a barrier, but now I think that most owners and contractors are aware that investing um, can save more money on their pocket.
Yeah, it's so true, so true. The next thing I wanted to cover with you, you have a broadcast that you have. It's available in Spanish language and also in English from time to time. You do some special episodes. And you've always been kind of that a bridge influencer in the protective coatings and corrosion industry when it came to language. I don't want to call them language barriers, but sometimes myself, I'm not fluent Spanish. I don't speak any Portuguese. You obviously are fluent in English and also native Spanish as well. So your influence when it comes to markets between South and North America have been immense. The messaging that you do in your broadcasts. Would you like to talk a little bit about what you focus on with your content in your broadcast?
Okay, yes, Jim. I may say that at the beginning I have the vision to do this broadcasting series because, as you say, maybe I was not kind of willing to be a bridge, but I discovered that I can be a bridge to help my peers, to help my industry. And I figured out that I had a lot of opportunities to meet with different experts around the world. And I have these amazing conversations, like one to one with them. Every time I maybe I go to a conference or different access that I can have to these experts. And then it came to my mind like, hey, why I don't do something that I can share this insightful knowledge I gain from my peers, from experts around the world that I have access to them. I have the opportunity to talk to them and share this knowledge with my peers. So that's when I come up and I can say I have a lot of your support to start doing these broadcasting programs, and I consider it's a good way to share the knowledge, to share um, the words from experts from around the world, from their own words, and share it with my peers and with my industry. So that's the biggest reward I get from that I know that some people have come to me, send me a WhatsApp or an email, or write me in Facebook, and people that maybe I don't know before, they say, hey, your broadcast or your technical article helped me a lot to solve this problem or this situation. And it's beautiful when people contact you and say, hey, I have this problem on this project, or I have this problem on how to react to this different circumstance. Do you have a minute for me, or you have 5 minutes for me? And that's what really fulfill me the most, that I can be a bridge and I can be of some help to my peers and to my industry, and help them sort out some information they just need to keep going forward for themselves.
Yeah, it helps out the individual, but also it helps out the global industry too, because a lot of times I think with the protective coatings industry globally is the communication aspect of it, but also the outreach. Now, related to outreach, you have a lot of younger professionals that you work with in the past number of years, but also too that approach you. In closing out our broadcast, if you're talking to a young professional who's interested in the evolving in the industry when it comes to professional certifications, but also making an impact more as an influencer to promote the global protective and corrosion industries. What recommendations do you have for them?
Well, I can think the main recommendation I do to most of the young professionals and young kids that come to me like for some sort of advice, I always tell them like never stop studying, because this is an industry that you never end to know. There is always some new technology out there you have to become aware of, or keep studying. Don't stop at some point and think that you know all, because when you stop studying or think that you already know all what you need to know, is when you start to don't growing anymore. I always tell them as well that do the best thing they can do the right thing as well every day of their life. It doesn't matter if they start as a craft worker, if they are a safety, safety officer, quality control inspector, manager. It's always look for doing the right thing in your every day. That's kind of what I have done for a long time, and it have worked well for me. So this what have worked well for me is what I want the people to have the same opportunities and the same gain the same knowledge I have been able to win over the years. And a final thought is that never think the short path is the best path. Sometimes you have to take the longer path to make things correctly and being able to leave a legacy. What is at the end the most important, if we are here in this world, is to leave a legacy. It can be in your industry, it can be as a president of your country, it can be in a project, but any legacy that you can leave behind for good is the best thing you can do.
Great advice. Great advice, Juan. Juan, for people who want to follow you or to also reach out to you, social media, how can people follow you? And then also, how can people contact you?
Okay, my main social media contacts are Master Coatings Inspector. You can find me in Facebook and Instagram, and as my name, Juan Caballero, in LinkedIn and Facebook as well. So that's in YouTube channel, I'm also as Master Coating Inspector. So there you can find some information that may be helpful for you. And I really appreciate in advance that you can support me, giving me a follow. And, more than a follow is start to build a relationship.
There you go. It's all about the relationship. It's all about networking. And that's really what makes a big impact. So everyone, if you have an opportunity, if you're not following Juan, make sure you're following Juan, and then feel free to reach out to Juan, because over the years I've worked with Juan, I found him to be very extremely friendly, very intelligent, and also very impactful when it comes to questions you might have regarding corrosion or protective coatings. Juan, I so greatly appreciate this, and I want to tell you to have a good rest of your day, and have fun in Panama. What's the weather like in Panama right now? Temperature in Fahrenheit?
Well, right now it's a little bit good, because there is cloudy sky today, but still we are around 27 degrees Celsius.
Okay,
So
yeah,
I know it's like heat for other regions.
yeah, it can get a little bit of a cooker down in Panama, and I've been down there. Maybe being from the north, It can be very, very,
Yeah.
very heavily. But if I go to Houston or something, you go on the Gulf Coast, you get to Florida, you get sometimes the same type of weather. So,
yeah.
All right, Juan. Well, have a good rest of your day, and everybody will see you next Wednesday at noon Eastern.
Have been great to be again with you, Jim.
All right, Juan. Have a good rest of your day.
I hope you found value with today's Build Out broadcast. Make sure you connect with Jim on LinkedIn and subscribe to his YouTube channel. This way you'll be notified on new live streams and when new content is released. Please give today's broadcast a like and share with your connections and colleagues. Thanks for watching, and please visit buildoutproductions.com for additional content and to join the mailing list so you can keep updated on other streams and quality content from the creators on the Build Out Productions team.